caught them cheating, revealed everything at our wedding. This happened about a month ago. Now, I'm calm enough to tell this story without too much emotion, but back then, I felt a storm inside me. I've changed names, places, dates, not because I'm scared, but because I don't want anyone to find out who they were. The story is still real, and I'm telling it honestly, because it matters. My name is Alex, and Josh, he was my best friend. Since we were 6 years old, we weren't just friends, we were brothers. We grew up together, shared childhood secrets, first fights, first victories. We built tree forts, camped in backyards, made stupid promises to never betray each other. Even our parents were close. They took trips together, spent holidays together. They trusted each other like family. As we got older, our paths split a little. I went into marketing, Josh into event planning, but we stayed close, always in touch. When I got a job at a global company and started managing internal events, Josh was the first person I called. He became part of my work, part of my life, my teammate, my brother. And that's why I'm starting this story with him. Because what happened is built on betrayal. And unless you know who he was to me, you'll never understand how deep the cut really went. I met Emily during a work project. She was a translator, quick, confident, with this spark in her eyes that drew you in. At the time, my life was finally coming together. I had a solid team, a good salary, respect in the office. Everything felt steady. And then Emily walked in, like she was always meant to be part of it. We started simple, coffee meetings, walks, late night conversations. Then came weekends away, nights in with wine and music, laughter in the kitchen. She had her own career, a sharp, focused lawyer, disciplined, driven. That kind of energy was magnetic. We were different, but we balanced each other. With her, I felt like I could finally breathe. I told her things I hadn't told anyone, my fears, my dreams. She listened, she understood. At least, I thought she did. We were together for almost 2 years before I proposed, lived together for one. She met my mom, became part of my friend's circle. And Josh? Josh seemed genuinely happy for us. He even helped with the wedding plans, found venues, suggested photographers, gave me tips from past events he'd organized. When I told him, "You'll be my best man," he laughed and said, "You better not choose anyone else." It felt perfect, too perfect. About 6 months before the wedding, something felt off. Not suddenly, not obviously, but I started to feel like she wasn't really with me anymore. Emily got more distant, always busy with work, always tired, always checking her phone, but never showing me the screen. She laughed at texts she didn't explain, turned her phone face down when I walked in, made excuses I used to believe, but now, I couldn't stop feeling it. Still, I tried not to overthink it. Stress, maybe. Workload, wedding pressure. I told myself, don't be that paranoid guy. Don't ruin what you've built. But the doubt kept growing. And then, one night I borrowed a flash drive from Josh. I needed it for a presentation. It had a hidden folder. I opened it, thinking it was just old project files. And then I saw them. Photos, blurry, but familiar. My apartment, my couch, my blanket, and them. Together. Not a lot of pictures. Not recent, but enough to freeze me in place. My stomach dropped. My hands started shaking. I closed the folder, shut the laptop, sat there, breathing fast, eyes locked on nothing. Panic, anger, shame, tears, betrayal, and then nothing. I sat there, silent, empty. I didn't cancel the wedding. I don't know why. Maybe part of me was still hoping it wasn't what it looked like. So I started watching. Not obsessively, just paying attention. When she came home, what she wore, when she texted, how cold she felt in bed. I noticed patterns and excuses and gaps in her stories that didn't quite add up. I installed a small camera in our living room, then another one in the hallway. Not because I wanted to catch her, but because I needed to know. And I did. The footage showed her letting him in. Josh, my best friend, sometimes for an hour, sometimes overnight, and his voice, his laugh, in my home. That was the breaking point. But even then, I didn't scream. I didn't confront them. Not yet. I needed more. I hired a private investigator, told him to follow them, track her movements, get into her phone if possible. He brought me everything: screenshots, messages, GPS logs, hotel check-ins, even a photo of them holding hands in another city while she told me she was on a business trip. They had been doing this for almost a year, and every single lie, every hidden moment, every fake smile at dinner came crashing down. I felt like I was drowning in it, but under all that pain, a thought started forming. No screaming, no fighting, no warning. I wanted them to burn. In public. I planned it all. Every second, every word. I collected everything, sorted the files, built a slideshow, not too graphic, but clear, undeniable. I rehearsed my speech over and over. And then I told Emily, I want to say a few words at the wedding. She smiled. Oh, you're finally getting romantic? I smiled back. You could say that. The wedding was beautiful. 150 guests, family, friends, co-workers. Even our manager, the one Josh and I both worked under, was there. I wore the suit I picked out months ago, looked in the mirror and whispered, "Let's finish this." Emily looked stunning, glowing. Josh was laughing, talking to everyone, so relaxed, so confident. I was quiet, but inside, a storm. I kept going over the files in my head, over the lies, over the nights I sat in silence, knowing what they were doing behind my back. Then the DJ handed me the mic. Everyone clapped. I took a breath, a sip of champagne, and began. I've been thinking a lot about how to start this speech, and I decided love stories aren't always about flowers. Sometimes they're about truth, even when it hurts. I clicked the remote. Slide 1, a picture. Slide 2, messages. Slide 3, footage. Their voices, their laughter, my apartment, my bed. Josh jumped from his seat. "Turn it off, shut it down." The tech guy looked at me. I nodded. He kept going. I looked Josh dead in the eye. "You slept with my fiancée." Then I turned to Emily. "I loved you. I built a future with you, and you tore it apart, behind my back. You both didn't just betray me. You lied to everyone here, our families, our friends." I raised my glass. "To the truth, even when it breaks bones." After that night, everything fell apart. Emily tried to talk to me, texted, cried, blocked me, unblocked me, wrote long messages about how complicated it was. I didn't answer. Josh, nothing, not a word. The apartment we lived in, it was rented, but it felt poisoned. Every wall, every chair smelled like lies. I packed my things 2 days later. No drama, no breakdown, just silence, one box after another. I looked at the space where we used to watch movies, where she used to fall asleep on my chest. Now it just felt empty. I left the key on the counter, walked out, didn't look back. The next day, my manager called me in. He had been at the wedding. He saw everything. The ADF from the Keeson Lake. He sat me down and said, "You deserve a clean start. I'll arrange for a transfer, new team, new city." And just like that, I was gone. New apartment, new people. No ghosts, just silence and space to breathe. 7.5 months later, I saw the old video again, scrolled through the comments, and thought, maybe it's time for a small update. First, thank you. To everyone who supported me, to everyone who wrote kind words, you helped more than you know today. I'm better. Not perfect, not healed all the way, but better. I moved, started a new job, new friends, new habits, less noise in my head. As for Emily and Josh, I don't really know much. I heard Emily moved to another city to live near her sister. Josh works somewhere, but I don't know where. We don't talk. We never will. All I know is they're not together anymore. Not that it matters. I stopped caring a long time ago. If you're going through something like this, I want to tell you one thing. Time does heal, but you have to cut ties. Don't explain. Don't chase. Don't fix people who chose to break you. Walk away, even if your hands are shaking. You'll survive. I did. I don't even know if I could have done what he did. planning that whole speech, acting normal, looking at her, knowing she was still sleeping with his best friend, that takes a different kind of strength, honestly. I probably would have lost it way earlier, but he pulled it off, and he got his closure. Props to him. And if you like the story, leave a comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.